everyone, I welcome you to another video at GM Professional Accountants. I'm here with Raja Zaman, an accountant with us for many years. Welcome, Raja.
Thank you, Bilal, for having me.
So the topic today is on the self-assessment tax return. As the 31st January deadline is creeping up, we've had a number of questions. So I'll be asking them to Raja so he can give you insight on the self-assessment tax return. So I'll start off with the first question. What are some of the main errors people face when completing a self-assessment tax return?
Bilal, if we're talking about individuals that are completing their tax return, I think it's about recognizing the expenses. One of the biggest errors I've come across is, unfortunately, overinflated expenses with no audit trails. So, Bilal, what that entails to is a tax return being incorrectly filed.
So would you say a duplicate is also another error?
Yeah, absolutely.
Duplicates?
Absolutely, Bilal. So what happens here is when you duplicate an expense, you're actually understating your profits, which means is you're not paying the right amount of tax. Again, if HMRC decide to open that tax, the tax return back up, you won't have that audit trail for that expense because it's been duplicated.
Okay. And how difficult would you say it is to complete your self-assessment tax return by yourself?
I believe, Bilal, you need to have some sort of field, some sort of background, something, with the accounting field, some sort of education, whether it's a bookkeeping course that you've completed or something that you've done that, you can understand the bookkeeping software and also the boxes on the tax return. So that being one of the biggest concerns, I'd say.
Okay. And I believe depending on your sector, the expenses would vary.
Absolutely correct, Bilal. So each sector has its own sort of expenses that are allowed. Again, each sector will be very specific to itself. Some individuals will be, taking out more expenses than they should. And, sometimes, someone will put in their house rent in, which again, Bilal, it's not an expense that should be claimed.
Yeah. So what would you say is one of the first steps people should take now that want to complete their self-assessment tax return by the 31st of January?
I believe the first step you should take, and I think this step should have been taken on the 5th of October to register. So if you haven't registered, my advice to you would be is register as soon as possible. The 31st of January is not far away and that deadline is approaching. And for someone to complete your tax return, they do require some time. So what I would say is definitely, firstly register with HMRC for a UTR number being step one.
Okay, and what is a UTR number?
A UTR number is a unique tax reference number that's issued to an individual to show that they have a self-assessment tax record and for them to file their tax return.
So I guess that you would need a UTR number to file your self-assessment tax return.
Absolutely correct, Bilal. You need a UTR number being step one. Again, it's the first thing that would be required for an individual when registering for tax.
Thank you, Rajas, for your insight. That's been some of the main questions that we've been facing. Everyone, I hope this answered your questions. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.